It's the rundown. Today's August 1st. It's brought to you by Movement Watches. Your boy Riggs is rocking one right now. Movement Watches, they're much like ourselves. The guys who started Movement Watches, they created a good product. They wanted to change the game. They did just that. They're disrupting the watch industry left and right because they create high-quality watches and they make them affordable. So they look like watches that should cost like $500, $1,000. They started just $95. They got all different types of bands, all different types of faces, all types of different styles for any sort of outfit. They got sunglasses. I rock the sunglasses all summer long. My favorite pair of sunglasses. So they got you covered for all the accessories. They're gonna make you look dope. Go to movement.com. It's mvmt.com/rundown. You get 15% off plus free shipping on your entire order. That's mvmt.com/rundown. We got Riggs. We got Chaps.
We got a hell of a crew.
This is a heavy hitter squad right here. We got the ZBT boys. Dave and Dan are out, so you're in. We'll start with a topic that's good for the both of you: the mooch.
The mooch.
Chaps.
The mooch.
Chaps. Taking the loss of the mooch very hard. I know it was a hot and heavy 10 days for you in the mooch.
It was, because there wasn't a whole lot in that administration that I was really loving.
You love the mooch.
But I could almost get on board with the Trump presidency because the mooch was there. I know if anybody else is in office, the mooch is not there. The mooch came in and changed the game. He's just such a ridiculous and over-the-top character that the country, in order to heal, need more than 10 days.
Now, the latest with the mooch was this email. He got duped over email.
Yeah, so a bunch of different White House people got duped. He got duped basically by a fake Reince Priebus, who was the former chief of staff. And
everybody's a former.
Everybody's basically a former, but this guy was going back and forth with him, basically being like, you know, you're classless. The mooch came over the top multiple times to the point where he actually said, like, read Shakespeare for me one time, particularly Othello.
Which you're right there, bud. You're right there, bud.
From a New York, like, Goldman Sachs dude coming at you with Othello, like Shakespeare, like, I'm going to nail you to the cross with Othello.
It's a mooch move.
And it's great to know that the mooch isn't just all, like, when the cameras are rolling. Like, this was him in private emails with the chief of staff being like, dude, read fucking Shakespeare for me. Like, one time.
That is the key. The mooch is the mooch through and through. Cameras on, cameras off. He's going to still be the mooch today. He still is the mooch.
He's the mooch.
It doesn't matter whether he's got this job or not. He is the mooch.
But you got to feel like he's a little bit of a reserve mooch. Like, I feel like...
You think he's going to scale it down?
Like,
I think he's about to ramp up his moochness.
No, I feel like he took a couple hits. I think because he was flying high. I mean, going from having like a $280 million deal, then becoming the director of the White House. You're wanted on every single morning show, every news show in the country, and then you're publicly humiliated.
Dude, I don't know.
2 days.
I feel like he's just one of those guys that's so on his own like planet that he just thinks he's constantly rising. Like, oh yeah, I went to I was the White House.
Just total irrational confidence.
Right.
It's like I'm better than the White House. They're lost.
Right. He's like, for 2 weeks I was like the most powerful dude in the world. I'm on the way up.
Do you think that he did more in his 10 days, in his 2 weeks, reputation-wise, internet-wise, political-wise, than maybe anybody ever? The mooch.
The old, like, whatever the fucking cliche is, like the burn brighter, that is so, never been more applicable.
I don't know
ever.
I'm not sure which star it is that burns out. I think it's like a supernova, but that's exactly what it is. Like,
burns
rise and
twice as bright, half as long.
Yeah, whatever that fucking thing is, that was the mooch.
Yes. Do you remember the old school Dennis the Menace? Not really that old school, but the one where the homeless dude's eating beans and shit.
Yes.
And Mr. Wilson has that flower that he's been cultivating for like 30 years. And then all of a sudden the flower blooms and it's so beautiful.
That was the mooch's 10 days?
Bright, and then it just dies in like 10 seconds and Mr. Wilson watches it. The country was Mr. Wilson. And it was like Goldman Sachs had been cultivating him for 30 years to put in front of us for those 10 seconds, and then it went out.
Chaps, that was your Billy Madison.
That was
what
really
you have said here. We are all stupider for having listened
that
to
was
it.
good.
It makes perfect sense.
That was a good
but it was the puppy who's lost its way. The puppy, revolution. Okay. The mooch, the flower, and Dennis the Menace. It did. Right? It made perfect sense. It blossomed, it bloomed. We got to watch it in all its beauty, and now it's gone.
When you said it was my Billy Madison moment, I thought, how could that be complimentary? Because I thought that the point that I made was so good. But it wasn't.
No, it made perfect sense. I got you, bro.
You were being mean.
Are you, I mean, the mooch, like, what do you do from here? I know you and Big Cat were singing, everybody was singing goodbye mooch songs.
I think
do you just let the mooch go, or do you?
First thing you got to do is send your ex-wife a "you up" text. I mean, you got to try to get back with your wife.
Yeah, he really sold the farm.
Yeah, talk about going all in.
Yeah, no, he was all in. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna return, but I feel like we didn't see the last of the mooch. There's no.
He could definitely be.
Sure.
He could definitely go on like Fox or CNN if he wanted to, and if he wanted some limelight.
Oh,
no doubt about it, he would have a job.
I feel like
Fox
he
News
wants
tomorrow.
limelight. I feel like he's
For
a
sure.
limelight guy.
I mean, Barstool should hire him for sure.
Yeah.
What do you do personally? I mean,
if I'm him?
yeah. No. If you're you, like, what are you gonna do? You don't have the mooch anymore. Like, we almost need, when you break up with someone, it's like, chaps, you need to move on, bud.
I got to get out of the city because it reminds me of him.
The mooch.
So as soon as the rundown over, I'm hopping on a plane and going the fuck home.
To the NFL, latest Jets draft, the safety Jamal Adams said something to the effect regarding concussions of, like, what a wonderful place to die, the football field. Wouldn't that be great to die on the football field? So, a lot of concussion talk again. A reporter then asks Goodell about concussions, and he just fucking blatantly lies to this guy's face and says that NFL players live longer, healthier lives than the average person.
The average NFL player lives 5 years longer than you, on average. So their lifespan is actually longer and healthier. And I think because of all the advancements, including the medical care, that number is going to even increase for them.
That's just not true.
That's a lot.
Like an average, we Googled it, the Google machine says that the average American lives till 78. The average NFL player, I think, lives like in his 50s. So, yeah, maybe you can skew some stats here and there, Roger, that like poor people in India don't live as long than professional athletes. I get what he's saying. People who are fine specimens and have a lot of money will live a long time. The average guy bashing his brain in is probably not going to live very long, but it's Roger doing Roger things, just blatantly lying to the public. So what do you got, either on this dude, the Jets rookie comment, or Goodell?
I guess what I don't understand is why do they just keep like blatantly lying so much with like, I mean, when the study comes out that it was like 99%, like, of course, if your profession is running into other people that just work out like meatheads 24/7 to be as strong and fast as possible, that's gonna be bad, like worse for your health than what most normal people do.
There's really no like interpretation. There's no gray area here.
No.
There's numbers and they're coming out.
Like,
and so you're just gonna be like, oh, that was wrong.
You could have told someone way before technology and all of these tests and everything existed that this is a fact. Like there's
People
gonna be
believe it.
something where your brain gets more hurt than it does if you don't do this. We'd be like, yeah, definitely. So I kind of respect the fact that they just fucking lie.
I mean, that's the $45
lie.
million paycheck.
But I don't
like,
get, like, I don't feel like they have to. I don't think it's
Yeah,
that
I mean,
big of
if
a
you're
deal.
like a lawyer and a well-spoken person like Roger Goodell is, you got to come up that, hey, that's never happened where somebody dies on the field.
On the football field, yeah.
From a head injury.
Well,
like, that's never happened.
that comment
and two,
alone-
we're doing everything we can with technology to make this game safer than it's ever been before.
right. It's only getting better from
You
here
say
on
that,
out.
people
Done.
are like, okay,
right.
let's move on.
Tomorrow will be better than yesterday, forever and here on out. And especially that comment, to let that comment be the one that slips you up, like, that's clearly a very dramatic comment about a guy like, I love this sport, and this is where
This is a
Right.
rookie. We're dealing with him and giving him training. That's not the type of thing that you want.
This is the opportunity to, like, that was an easy one to handle. The fact that he just went in with a lie. My thing always comes back to, like, pretty much all these guys always say, like, if I could go back and do it over again, I would still be a football player.
100%.
So it's their choice. They're going to make their money. They're going to die when they die, and nobody forces them to do it. And while that's fucked up, I don't know.
I have
Free
a
country.
question. I have a question. Are you surprised by the 78 number, and do you think you'll live to be 78?
I'm not surprised. It's a little high.
That's what I thought. It was
Because,
a
like,
little
there's
high.
still a bunch of people in this country who just live shitty lives. And
Well,
die
I guess,
early.
like, if you
I
don't-
don't think I will. I'm below average physically, so I'm not going to make it to 78.
I also feel like if you don't live in New York, I guess maybe like you live a safer life. But every day walking down the street, I'm like, oh, I could die.
Oh, don't be a
any
pussy.
moment.
What,
Any
like you're
moment.
going to get, like, murdered?
Or just like some fucking idiot
terrorist
like in a
attack
bus
or
is gonna
something?
like swerve a little left, boom, done. Like
I hope
it's,
so.
No, you don't. That's like that was like a Dave comment. That wasn't very nice. I don't.
No, but I don't want you to die.
I think
Now,
78
after
is
hearing
like,
that, it would be
I
funny
think
if you got hit by a
78
bus.
is like hot.
Very
I thought
high.
that was fucking hot.
That's average. It's not
But
78.
78 is not what it used to be. I mean, it's just not.
78 is the new 40.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I think 78 is the new 57.
You think I'm gonna? You think I'm gonna make it to 78?
Yeah,
Probably so.
Yeah, I think you will.
I think that you'll be
think
like
so.
the most ornery old man too.
I mean, I already am 32, and I'm like that.
It's gonna be real bad.
I mean, I guess maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm just saving all my energy. You know,
You're-
like I've been
well,
on a couch for 40 years.
It's
I'm
gonna
good.
be right. You're gonna be an old, like cranky old man for like 40 something years
It's gonna be great.
instead of.
And I can say whatever I want, and they can be like, well, he's old.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm below
can,
average.
like,
so
run
I'm
over
I'm
people.
definitely
gonna
not
live.
wearing underwear when I'm old.
I'm surprised you're wearing underwear right now, Chaps.
Well, I didn't all week in Newport and got a little chafing action going on.
So now you got to protect them.
Yeah.
Speaking of Newport, Steph Curry, I'm a little disappointed in you in Feidelberg. You're
I'm a
out
little
there.
disappointed too.
You guys are basically kings of Newport. Steph Curry is there. He's ready to party with some bros. He goes to some random house and not the Feidelberg Barstool house.
Let's go.
Let's go!
This is shit
I'm not going to place that on me because the last night we were there, like me being 35 really came out.
I heard.
Like I had my little noise machine that I brought from home that I ordered like right before I came.
Yo, that's the oldest move of all time.
I went to the top floor. It was like 9 o'clock. I threw that bad boy in, threw on some headphones, watching Netflix. I was asleep by like 9:50.
We were recapping the weekend, and Feidelberg said because you started on Wednesday for your birthday, right?
Yeah.
So you were out Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Saturday rolls around. Feidelberg calls up his buddies. They all come and they're drinking like early morning beers.
I mean,
and he was like, they were
drinking
at
like 10:30. I drank like one glass of wine.
Yeah. He was like, Chaps ordered a wine, and that's when I said to myself, well, I don't know if Chaps is gonna make it tonight.
I did it.
9 o'clock rolls around. He was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it out.
No,
as you should. I'm not even knocking you, brother. That's absolutely fine.
I feel like that's a power move on my behalf.
Yeah, like I don't even need you guys.
I don't even need to do that.
You're not
I'm
even
just
that
gonna
fun.
go take a nap.
But
You're very secure in what you're bringing and what you want to bring.
Yeah, and I knew I had to drive back the next day, and I felt whenever we were driving back from Newport, I was right as rain. Like I woke up at like 6 o'clock. It's like, let's go. I cleaned up
Ready
the
to
house
rock.
by myself. I got it all cleaned up.
You gotta roll
the
with
pie
dads.
father in me came out.
Yes, exactly.
Big time.
Having a dad on your squad is not always a bad thing, boys.
It's not.
But one can't help but think maybe if you were out Saturday night, a live day, you're raging, maybe Steph Curry would have been like, I want to party with those guys.
I doubt it.
Nah, probably not.
I'm not that cool.
Probably not.
I don't think Steph looks at a dude that looks like
But
me and
Steph's
be
not
like,
that cool
that's
either.
the guy I want to be.
There's
Steph's
no
not
way
cool.
Steph's like that cool.
No,
Oh,
I mean,
no
I
shit.
think that was him trying to be like, look at me, I'm cool. He had the beer down his
I
shirt.
thought Steph didn't drink.
Well, I don't think he did. I think he poured it all over his chest.
That's the old Pat McAfee move.
Yeah.
Apparently somebody was like, yo, shotgun a beer. He's like, no, I'll just chug it. And then blah, blah, blah.
Right. Okay. Smart.
By the way, that's
I'm not into
throwing
that.
shots
I'm not into that.
at
Yeah.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Are you saying Pat McAfee
No,
cannot
I'm saying
actually
that
chug
with
beer?
the Stone Cold thing, like more of it just goes on your shirt than in your mouth. And that's not a shot. That's just a fact.
But are you challenging Pat McAfee's chugging skills? Because
No,
of
Pat McAfee drinks. I'm not.
okay.
There's no confusion about that.
when
He
that guy
definitely
chugs a
drinks.
beer, it's just
I want to
disappears.
say that. So Steph Curry's playing in that like minor league golf tournament this weekend.
Okay.
He's clearly not taking it overly seriously.
No, I would say not. I would say that's
Like that-
high on his priority list.
He's like the whole golf world is like, oh, we've got to really see how well he plays to see if he stole a spot from other deserving up and coming golfers.
have our answer.
And
He did.
Steph Curry
He did.
is Fucking, the story comes out 2 days before they tee off.
Can you
and
imagine?
He's shit-faced in Newport.
There's some fucking stuck-up golf guy who's on the cusp, who's sitting at home like, God damn it.
tweeting
you
at
took
me
my
right
shit."
now. I guarantee you. They're
Bunch of
tweeting it.
fucking losers.
Oh yeah.
Bobby Knight. This is a wild story. Bobby Knight at basically some sort of like Department of Defense meeting. This is several years ago. I don't even understand why he was there. But he basically groped and slapped the ass of every female employee in the joint. Just everyone who he came into contact with.
It was several years ago? I thought it was recently.
I thought, Keith, when did the Bobby Knight thing happen? When did he grope those girls? Wasn't it a long time ago? 4 or 5 years ago, but the details just came out.
Oh,
Okay.
So this is back when I guess maybe Bobby had a little more juice. Also, in his like speech at the Department of Defense, he asked everybody to stand up, and there was a deaf guy in the crowd, and he didn't hear and didn't stand up, and Bobby Knight called him uncoachable to the whole crowd, which might be better than the sexual
Yeah.
harassment in my
That's
book.
the best part. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
you're uncoachable. No, he's actually deaf. Although, listen, if you're at a fucking
if you're
a
just
speech
not-
and everybody
that's just-
stands up, you stand up too.
Yeah, but if you're giving a speech and you make the audience participate in any
You're
kind
an
of
asshole.
physical, yeah, you're just a dick.
So what's worse, groping these
Doing
girls or
cool Joe
making
Biden
people?
when Joe Biden tried to get the dude in the wheelchair to stand up.
Is that worse than groping these chicks?
I feel like sexual assault's pretty bad.
Good answer. That's the Barstool way. That was a good answer. We're not
I like that you thought
misogenic.
about it. You're like,
Pause.
there's something I need to say here.
Pause.
And it is that sexual assault.
Sexual
is bad.
assault, actually bad.
Now listen, we don't condone any of that behavior. But if you're gonna do that, you got to be Bobby Knight from like. Well, he doesn't have that juice now. He didn't
I
have
feel
it 4
like
years
to do
ago.
that, you got to be the mooch. You got to be the mooch.
Everything comes back to the
The
mooch.
mooch
It's all
slaps you on
just
the
trust.
ass. You're like, that's just the mooch.
That's the mooch being the mooch.
I feel like Bobby Knight gets that too. And I feel like these people, like, if you're going to invite Bobby Knight to this type of event,
what again? What is the Department of Defense or whoever it was?
If that
doing?
happens, you're kind of like, well, yeah, I mean,
You're
it's
opening
like you
doors.
bring like a puppy dog to a party and it's like sipping alcohol. Like, okay, you brought your fucking dog to the party. Like, you brought Bobby
That's how it
Knight.
goes.
He's gonna like slap chicks and
That's
say
a fair take.
inappropriate shit. Like, what do you expect?
And old dudes like Bobby Knight happens so much with like older white dudes who grew up in that culture of like the Mad Men culture where they think
Just
they
how-
can do that.
That's allowed.
And then people still let him get away with it. Like, no, don't fucking let Bobby. Bobby Knight slaps my wife on the ass.
It's a problem.
Yeah, there's gonna be hell to pay.
But
Fuck you,
but what
Bobby.
you're saying, I feel like everyone at this event, like the chicks are like, oh my god, who the fuck was that? They turn around, it's Bobby Knight. And they're
Bobby
like,
Knight's
oh,
like,
it's
hey.
just Bobby.
Yeah, they said there was like girls being like, oh my God, he just hit you on the ass. And then nothing happened.
I mean,
I know what you're saying about Bobby Knight, like sports legend. I don't think he's in free pass territory. That's like Bill Clinton shit. Like, whoa, all right, I don't know, Slick Willie just groped me, former president. If Bobby Knight's running around an office like groping chicks, I'm surprised there wasn't more
Bobby Knight
being
hasn't
like,
been a
stop
big deal in like 30 years.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
again, we're anti-sexual assault.
right, make that clear.
Very important.
Big time.
We will do. Well, let's go to MJ versus Levar. Michael Jordan says that he could beat LeVar Ball on one leg. Probably true.
Yeah, easy, definitely.
100%.
Now
true.
let's play this out though. How do you like literally play ball with one foot? Like
just
you
shoot.
hop around like a flamingo, or you just stay still? It has to be like make it take it because you can't play D really.
I feel like.
And he's
Jordan-
just got to not miss a shot.
I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like with one leg you could still do a nice little post up and then a fadeaway.
Like a back
One
down.
leg fadeaway jumper.
Yeah, I feel like he could play good enough D too.
It's tough to play defensive one leg.
Does
But
he?
LeVar Ball really sucks.
That's what I mean. Like and MJ's a big motherfucker. If he
Yeah,
can,
that's
if he
true.
can start getting like decently mobile on his one leg, like hopping around.
Yeah, like he needs like 3 months
That's
to
what I mean.
train
Yes.
on his foot.
If he's
on his
ready,
one
like
leg.
he'll figure it out to a point where he could like shit kick him. I think.
I'm on board with that. Although LeVar is like sneaky ripped. When he popped the top off at the WWF, he's like in pretty good shape.
He's like fortunate fat guy body that looks muscular.
That's fine. It's
not a bad look to
Sign
have.
me up.
It's not a bad look to have.
We're
Fortunate
all in
fat
on that
guy
around
body
here.
that
That's
looks fortunate to look good. Is that what it
Yeah.
was? I'll take that right now.
Yeah, I would too.
I'll sign for that in a heartbeat.
The other factor here is
Got a
that
little belly going
like
on.
the fact that MJ said he could do it, then he can do it.
Yeah, he does strike me. Well, I don't know though. He's like he thought he was going to be a good front office guy in the NBA, and he stinks at that.
Yeah, but this is like on the
What he
court.
really-
like if he's saying he can do
He
something on the
needs
court,
to place a bet. If he's like 500,000 says I can beat you, MJ can't lose.
You're right.
And if he does, LeVar Ball ends up dead before the
what-
footage is ever released.
right motivation.
Last video of the day. I'm gonna throw the must-watch tag on this. I'm gonna put it in my. It's gonna be at the top 100, I think. This Buffalo anchor, this Buffalo news reporter, signing off, leaving his job, with like a 4-minute soliloquy, fighting back the tears.
Immediately too.
Right away, if I cry, it's because of my mom, not my dad. He doesn't show any emotion. Going on and on about how his daughter asks him if the Sabres are on every night and all of this fucking nonsense.
And I have a few words that I want to say before I go. If I cry, it's because I inherited that from my mom. My dad won't admit to any emotion whatsoever. I fell in love with this place 3 years ago when I got here. Buffalo has everything I could have ever asked for in a place. Great sports, great food, and even better people.
About the food in Buffalo and the city and the
And
town.
He's not that old. He's a young guy.
He looked
There's
really
no
young.
way
Like he
he's
doesn't
been
know
there that
any of
long.
this shit.
No.
And look,
he's like,
I don't care if people cry. I'm like the
you're a cry guy.
I'm the Tim Duncan of crying.
Okay.
Like I'm pretty good at it,
Yeah.
especially if I've had a couple glasses of whiskey, and I start talking about something that's remotely serious. I'm probably gonna
tears
cry.
are flowing,
Yeah,
yeah.
like because I just do. I don't know why. It just happens. You can't cry sober on the 4:30 news.
for like 4 minutes.
you
At one
can't.
point, the other anchor reaches out,
And
like
then
pats
he
him on the back, like, yo, dude, enough.
And
Yeah,
then
they're
at
like-
the end, the most bizarre part is at the end, he goes on like a 45-second long where he's just basically quoting the graduation song titles of like the last 30 years.
It was the Green Day song. It was like, I hope you had the
It's
time of your
I've
life.
had the time of my life. And just on and on, like it's Friday.
That's what
it's
friends are
Friday,
for, you
You
know.
got to get down on Friday. Like he's
He,
just going
honestly,
into
he
it.
thought he was giving like the Jimmy V speech.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
yeah.
no, like,
you're some
just like
fucking
leaving your
2-bit
job.
local anchor in Buffalo.
Like
Shut
they're
up.
gonna fucking plug someone else in there tomorrow, and nobody in Buffalo is gonna know the difference.
Nobody.
Nobody.
And he like doesn't even. He was like, "What's next for me? I don't even really know." Like, you probably should have kept your job
If
then,
you're
dude.
gonna make a viral moment as a local newscaster, it's got to be for something cool, like boom goes the dynamite.
Right, like for all the wrong reasons, but kind of like legendary.
Yeah,
This
where
guy,
you're like, I'm the boom goes the dynamite guy. You don't want to be on the Western Buffalo crying guy.
that's not a good look.
And shout out to these guys who filmed this that were just cracking up the whole time.
Perfect, like laughing commentary.
They
Just little like Snickers at the right
Every
moments.
time they were like,
awesome. Yeah.
I died every time they died. It was great.
That was.
They were like triggering me to like start laughing.
You're watching it on like the afternoon or evening news, so you're like cooking in your house, and you're like,
What the fuck is going on? I'm not trying to be a tough guy here, but sack up, dude. Jesus Christ. I almost want to talk to that guy. Like, he's got to be on Twitter, right? I want to be like, bro.
He doesn't have a job, so he's got nothing else to do.
Like, no wonder you're moving on. I'm sure the people at the Buffalo news station are like, get rid of this fucking guy.
guy.
Force him out. Let him go with the mooch. All right, that's it for the rundown, chaps. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys too.
We'll see you next trip.
Yeah, I'll be back in like 10 days.
Cool.
That quick?
Yeah. Yahoo Fantasy.
Oh, right.
August 9th it is? Something like that?
12th.
12th.
I like that.
Check it out.